Okay, we're going to take a look at the final sorting algorithm that we need to study, and that is quicksort. Now I'm going to show this in two different ways. The first way will be using the midpoints to choose our pivots. The second way I'm going to show it is by picking the first in the list. So let's go with the midpoints first, shall we? Okay. Now there are 8 numbers in this list, so what we're going to do is we are going to look halfway and go, right, well, there's no number in between the 4 and the 8, so I'm going to pick the 8. Traditionally we pick the one on the right. Now with quicksort, what happens is that all the numbers that are less than 8 need to go on the left hand side, and all the numbers that are greater than 8 need to go on the right hand side, because in this case we're going to put the numbers into ascending order. So the key thing to remember is that they need to retain their reading order. Okay, so I'm not sorting them myself. Okay, the algorithm does it for me. Okay, so 8 has been pushed to the far right hand side. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to rewrite my list. Okay, so the blue is showing what has been moved. Okay, 4, 1, 5, 6, and 8 has now been used. It is a dead pivot. Okay, as I like to call it. What it means is that we shouldn't have to pick it again. There would be no reason to, as we've already sorted using the 8. So we're now going to look at our list, and we are going to pick the middle number. So we've got 7 numbers, the middle number is the 4. Okay, so we're going to pick the 4. So all numbers that are less than 4 need to go on the left hand side, and all the numbers that are greater than 4 need to go on the right. So we've got 2, 3, and 1. Okay, the 4 remains where it is. Okay, I'll just put a red circle around that so we know what our pivot is. Then we've got the 7, the 5, and the 6. Okay, be careful with how you're writing it, in which order. Notice how I've written them in reading order from the previous list. Okay, we've still got the 8 on the end. Now I'm going to rewrite my list. Okay, so we've got 2, 3, 1. 4 has now been used. Okay, so we can't choose that again. And 8. Okay, so now we need to pick new pivots. In this case we've got 2 separate lists. We've got the 2, 3, 1 and the 7, 5, 6. Ooh. And we are going to pick, okay, a pivot from each. 5 here and the 3 here, the middle one. Okay, so what's going to happen is that both the 2 stays on the left hand side of 3, the 1 gets put over to the other side. Okay, we've still got that 3. That was our pivot. We've got the 4, which is the used pivot. Now we've got the 8 on the end. The 5 is going to go there because the 7 and the 6 are going to get moved over to the other side of the 5. Okay, so this is our new list. We have 2, 1, 3. 3 is now a used or a dead pivot. 4 is dead, 5 is dead, we've got the 7, the 6, and the 8 is also dead there. Okay, on the end of the list. Now, we've still got numbers that can be compared. We've got the 2 and the 1, we've got the 7 and the 6. So, we need to choose new pivots. So we look in the middle of the 2 and the 1, we go 1 to the right, and that will be the 1, that will be our pivot, and a similar story for the 7 and the 6. Okay, so the 1, okay, well the 2, sorry, is getting put to the other side of the 1 as the pivot. Okay, just takes a little bit of time to do all the circles and changing all the colours as we go. Okay, in the next example I'm not going to show it with all the different colours just to save time. Okay, but hopefully you're getting the idea of how this is working. 3, 4, 5, and we've got the 6, okay, the 8 on the end, okay, the 6 is the pivot, so that gets a red, and 7 is the number that has been moved to the right hand side of the 6. Okay, so our final list is 1, it's been used, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, if you get to the stage where you only have numbers stuck between two used pivots, okay, so singular numbers, so in this case the 2 and the 7, there are no numbers either side for us to compare it with, okay, because all the comparisons have now been completed. So this is our finished list: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm now going to show you how to do this where we are now choosing the first number in our list as the pivot each time. Okay, so in this case, first number will be the 7. Okay, so all the numbers that are less than 7 need to go on the left hand side. So we've got 2, 3, 4, we've got the 1, 5, 6, then we've got the 7 and the 8. Okay, so now we're going to pick the 2. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8. Okay, so now I'm going to pick 3, which means I'm going to get 1, 2, 3. The 4, 5, and 6 are staying on the right hand side of the 3. As you can see, the list was in order by line 3, but the computer does not know that. Okay, it needs to keep checking. So now we're going to pick 4. Okay, to compare with the 5 and the 6. They don't need to move. So next I'm going to pick the 5. Okay. And once they have all been picked, okay, well, they have not all been picked as pivots, but we cannot pick the 1 because there are no numbers to compare it to. Though we can no longer pick the 6 because there are no numbers to compare the 6 to, and similar story for the 8. Okay, so this is our final list: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So it might appear that in this case choosing the first number was a better option for this list of numbers, and in some cases this can be true. In the exam, they can state whether you should be picking the first number to start off with. Okay, so they can specify that. So that's something you do need to be aware of.